Hello again guys, and this is another Acquisition of Skills screencast, and this week it's going to be discussing the social learning theory concept, and in particular the modelling theory proposed by Bandura. Okay, so if you see SLT anywhere, that concerns social learning theory, and social learning theory is the concept of everything we ever learn as individuals has come from somebody else, so it's learned sets of behaviours. And the gentleman in the picture to your right, Bandura, suggested that learning takes place by watching the behaviour of others, and then we try to copy it or we try to imitate it. And there's a very famous video that he shows of a woman punching a rubber doll, and children would then come into the room and copy that behaviour and punch the rubber doll, which I will show you within a lesson this week. Okay, so it's this concept of observational learning that we're going to focus this screencast on. And again, Bandura identified that for learning to take place, the model to be copied must be correct. And an individual whose behaviour is being observed is what we call a model. So for example, if we have David Beckham, currently a very good role model at present for young children, young aspiring footballers, male and female, he is the person that most children would like to copy as a footballer. I'm not saying he's the only one, but he could be someone that people would want to copy lots from. And so therefore his free kick action, for example, could be the model behaviour. He is the model that we are copying. The free kick run up is the model that we'd like to copy, and therefore he is the model. So Beckham is the model in Bandura's sense, and this means that other individuals may then want to copy that model in order for them to learn something or for learning to take place. And that's the idea of observational learning. However, please be careful there. Bandura does emphasise that the model to be copied must be correct. So you're copying something that's correct. If you copy something that's incorrect, let's say Beckham consistently missed his free kicks or had very poor technique, and you were copying that, then you're going to end up with very poor technique, or perhaps inferior learning might occur, or the incorrect learning as such. Now what Bandura identified was that he thought copied behaviours or learning something from a model only happens if 4 stages are present, and that's what he called the observational learning model. So it runs in 4 elements. Number 1, he said attention is very important, and that just means the person who is copying the role model or the model or the learner needs to focus directly on the parts being demonstrated. A second important factor in the observational learning model is what we call retention. So the learner who wants to copy Beckham must be able to store an image of the demonstration to be successful in copying him. The third aspect is what we call motor reproduction. And again, common sense really, the learner who is doing the copying must have the physical ability to reproduce the skill being demonstrated. And finally, the fourth factor Bandura stated was motivation. And a learner must have the drive to match the performance of the skill being modelled. So if I quickly run through this in accordance with the Beckham free kick. So David Beckham is the model that we wish to copy. Okay, David Beckham demonstrates a run-up to his free kick and scores the free kick. That is the model I am watching. That is my demonstration. So if I wish to copy it, number one, I need to pay attention to what Beckham did. So I need to focus directly on what Beckham's run-up was, where he hit the ball, perhaps how hard he hit it, the action, the kicking action. So as a learner, I need to focus on them things in order for me to successfully copy it. The second thing is retention. So I need to be able to store some sort of mental image of Beckham doing that free kick correctly in order for me to copy it. If I can't do that, I can't copy it. Third thing, in motor reproduction, I need to be fairly decent at kicking a ball or taking a free kick myself. So I need to have some sort of physical ability to reproduce that free kick technique, if you like. And again, without that, I won't be able to copy it. And the fourth thing, I need to be quite motivated in order to want to do this, as much as Beckham is when he takes his free kick. Now, if I do all of those four things correctly, not necessarily in order, but correctly, I will then learn Beckham's free kick and ultimately be able to copy it. Okay, you will need to make good notes about this model because it comes up quite a bit in the exam questions, and they ask you lots of questions about each different part. So think about practical example, I've given you a good one there, and think about learning each part of the model, and we'll discuss this a little bit more in class this week.